This is Vicky, also known as Dragonfly7673. It is about 20 after 6 on Tuesday, April 5th. I feel like I have a lot to show you, and a bunch of it is actually cross-stitch related, and there are a bunch of podcasts that are strictly Flosstube. And I know Sadie of the Yarnivore podcast has actually split her podcast. So she does a knitting fiber one, closes that out, and then does a Flosstube cross-stitching one. And then she actually posts both podcasts onto YouTube. And I actually only watched the Flosstube one. But that's besides the point. Even though, like today, I can warn you it's going to be a little cross-stitch heavy because I got some haul, as they like to call it. I would call it stash normally. But anyway, I don't want to split mine. I have enough trouble keeping up with one. Alright, so I was trying to think of what the things had happened. And I've told you that things are going to just be kind of busy and swamped. I went to see Mom and my son for the weekend, not this past weekend, 2 weekends ago. I can't remember the last time I talked to you. I can't remember if I talked to you and told you about the 9th Street review where they were kind of doing their skits and their performances. I don't remember. And then the following weekend, I went to take the cats, but I also helped my mom with getting set up with a website for the store where she works. They actually have a website, but due to the way things were, they didn't actually have ownership of the domain. The facility company that had originally set it up actually had it, so we were getting stuff transferred over. Anyway, it wasn't a huge amount of work, but it was weird. Like I tried to work from there and my network connection wouldn't work. It had nothing to do with their house. It was something at work and my computer didn't want to work together. Anyway, it was just weird. And then that Friday night, I took my son and his girlfriend. We ended up going to see Zootopia, which was cute. Saturday, he and I ended up going to a needlework store, which I had planned to go to, and I wanted to go to, called Witchery Stitchery in Mount Horeb. And then we went to go see the new Divergent movie, the last one. So I got knitting on my Twitchy sock, and then I was kind of just carrying it around, and then all of a sudden I realized that it was actually plenty long enough to add the cuff. So I just added the cuff yesterday. Now, it's a tube sock, because that's what my Twitchy socks usually are tube socks, and then I add the afterthought heel later. I have not started the second one yet, but I bound this off yesterday, so got that done. That was mostly movie knitting up until the cuff, when I realized that I could just get that done. All of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's plenty long enough. So this past weekend we went to Nashville, so I worked on some other projects. I actually didn't work on the Twitchy sock then. I finished, where did I put it? I brought stuff up kind of chaotically. Oh, here. I finished they're for the Knitted Knockers organization. Mine are crocheted knockers. So they look like that. They have a hole for stuffing because the person that gets them can stuff in the hole and then they can tighten it up. and then they can add more stuffing or remove stuffing. But anyway, if you were to give it directly to someone, you'd probably want to do some of the stuffing ahead of time, but for mailing purposes, you send them unstuffed. I will say I have a strong dislike for this pattern, and part of it was myself. The first time I worked on the first one, I didn't read the pattern right, and there gets to be a point where it says repeat rows 6 and 7, and on one of the rows you're doing 2 increases at the markers, and on the other row you're doing 1 increase at the marker. Well, I didn't read it correctly, so I wasn't doing the right number of increases, and I was ending up with this cone. And I kept trying to tell myself that it'd be okay when it was stuffed, but nobody's shaped like this. Yeah, it was because I read the directions wrong. Then I was using, there are 2 versions of the instructions if you look on Ravelry. I was using the improved version, which generally for the structure seemed okay, and said to use a G hook and Ultra Pima cotton. That's what I'm using. But when I finished where it said I should be for, you know, like a B cup or whatever, I was showing best friend, and he's like, no. He's a guy, you know, he's looking at it going, no. So, and I thought it was small too. So I ended up looking at the other crocheted pattern, which uses an E hook, which would have been so tight with this. This hurt my hand enough. But I used their numbers. So I did the numbers first. I increased until it was the numbers on the C cup of that pattern. And then I went back to following my original pattern for the decreases, because the first one had you making an opening and stuffing it on the side, which seemed awkward. Anyway, I ended up combining both patterns. I wrote some notes on my project page, but it hurt my hand. It required more concentration than I thought it should, because I kept forgetting when I had done, which rows I had done 2 increases versus 1 increase at the markers, and then on the decrease, you had to remember to decrease on both sides, but I would forget, and so I was like having to count, and I couldn't have a conversation with somebody because it wasn't mindless enough, but at the same time it wasn't interesting enough. Anyway, they are done. 1 pair. I have this much left. Maybe I could have gone up to a D cup, but they're done. And given a choice, I would not make these again. And I'm sorry. I'm so glad there are other people in the world who are willing to do those. And maybe if I was knitting them, it would be different, but I don't know. Right now, I don't want to think about them. And I was talking to Mom the one day when I was trying to finish the first one. I said the worst thing was that there was no motivation to finish it, because all I kept thinking was, I still have to do number 2. Instead of second sock syndrome, I had second boob syndrome. All right, but they're done. I finished the second one on the way to Nashville when it wasn't my turn to drive. So at least it's done. It's out of the way. I can pack it for Notopia. I have so much stuff to pack for Notopia. But anyway. Now, the whole idea of requires a little bit of concentration, but not enough, seemed to prevail. So, I also started, I told you I was going to start the single row scarf, I think. This is my really pretty yarn from Passion Flower. I love the yarn. I will be doing all the knitting stuff. I should have said this at the beginning. I'll be doing all the knitting stuff. Then I will do the drawings, because there's a bunch this week. Then I will do cross stitch, and then at the very end I'll do a little bit of healthy. So, anyway, this is the single row scarf. It's not a thick scarf, obviously. The pattern said it would be about 5 inches, and I haven't measured it, but this looks like it's about 5 inches wide. I really like the way the texture is coming. I was struggling at the very beginning with understanding how to slip the edges, so the very first rows don't look as pretty as the rest of it, but I figure if it's tied around my neck, nobody will notice. This, because of the way it's stitched, it doesn't grow vertically very fast. And I was carrying it around in my purse thinking that we would have a lot of time we were watching shows when we were in Nashville. We didn't, because I think we kind of realized, well, the first night we saw the girls group, and then we stayed for maybe one more. I don't even remember now. We didn't stay very long because we realized that they had to actually stay through they had to stay through several other shows before they were even going to do the awards, and it was going to be like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And we decided we didn't want to stay because Tiff had a pounding headache. So we walked back. Actually, though, it was very nice there. Here it was snowing, but there it was nice. So we walked back. Friday, first thing in the morning, my son's group performed, and they performed the best we have ever seen that group perform, but they did not make finals. They won Best Male Soloist, which we thought would make them kind of a shoo-in for finals, but they didn't make finals. I don't quite know how that works, but anyway, we saw them, and we saw a couple other groups, and then decided we really didn't want to stick around. And in between all this, we were kind of hanging out at the mall, but there was never, I couldn't knit on this in the dark, so I couldn't knit on it during the show, only in between shows. So it didn't go over as well as I was hoping. I also started a brickless. Now this is Knit Circus. It's the Greatest of Ease base, and I don't remember what the color is because it was I'm pretty oh, I have it. Oh, the color is shop exclusive. When I went to their shop and had my tour, I bought this for myself, but it actually does not have a name. It just says shop exclusive. Anyway, I started a brickless. Now, Mayvie on Ravelry sent me the pattern, and I really appreciate that. So I believe she sent it for my podiversary. And it's one I had been thinking about doing. So I do like the different textures. It also requires just a little bit more, it requires more concentration than I was anticipating, and yet not quite enough. It was just a struggle. Now, this will actually be really good. Both of these will actually be really good conference call knitting, because they're just at the right level for that. So that's the brickless. I don't remember what pictures I have, but let me stop and post pictures of the things I have shown you so far. I know I don't have an updated Twitchy sock picture because I didn't take one. And today will not work. All right, one more knitting thing. I don't think I ever told you guys that I signed up for the next mystery shawl for the Unique Sheep. I really enjoyed the last one. I haven't blocked it yet. I still need to do that, but it hasn't worked out. And then I was thinking I would block it this weekend on Saturday, but I'm going back to pick up the cats, and I'm probably going Friday night because Saturday morning my son and I need to do stuff, and it will be easier if I'm already there than having to leave here really early. So the big thing is we have to go to the bank and set him up with the checking account, and the bank closes at noon. And I wanted to do it together because I want to have my name on it. Just like Mom and I'm on her account just because it's not like I do anything with it. But so that's one of the things. He wants a haircut because we forgot the last time I was home. Totally. Anyway, there's a couple things to do early. Then I need to get back here and bring the cats back, but I didn't realize people were coming over. And so I need to bring the cats back early enough that they have some time to settle before the people come over. And they like to hide. And if people are coming over, I don't want to shut up this room, because this is one of the rooms they might hide in, because we usually keep our room shut because it's our bedroom and we don't keep it that neat. The guest bedroom's fine, but our bedroom, not so much. So that's not a good place for them to hide. So I don't want to shut this door and have them feel like they have no place to go. If I can't shut the door, I can't lay out the blocking. So anyway, so that's not blocked. But anyway, I'm saying anyway a lot. It's been very, very busy at work, and I actually told my manager today that I am drowning. So that was an interesting conversation. But I signed up for the Unique Sheep, the next mystery knit along, which starts in May, but they're only taking orders through sometime in April. I want to say April 20th. One of the dyers is actually pregnant, and so they wanted to get everything done before she was due and shipped out. And then they're actually making this one, instead of the usual 8 clues, they're spreading it out into 13 clues. Not because it's harder, they're actually making the clues smaller just to account for the fact that she's going to be out. So I decided I wanted to do the next one. It's based on Heidi, and I believe it's a triangle. But I decided not to worry about having to change yarns for the gradient or anything like that. So I just got a solid. Well, it's multicolored, but all one. And because I bought it for the shawl, they actually wound it into one cake. I don't ever have to change yarns unless there's a knot or a break. And I got matching beads. I always take the bead option. Sometimes I change my mind and don't do the beads. I always take the bead option because Earthfire, who does the beads, does such an amazing job matching that I just love that, and I want the option. So, and it was only 1 tube of beads, not 2, which means there must be less beading in it. Either that or they're smaller beads because it's lace weight. I actually didn't think of that till just now. Anyway, based on Heidi, this is Raven's Wing on EOS. I have worked with EOS before. It's one of my favorites. I did my Even Star in EOS, and I'm sure I did something else. But Raven's Wing, the Amethyst AB silver line are the beads. I do have a picture of this. All right, so last knitting related thing, and it's actually going to feed into the drawings. I received my actual physical copy of Cece's book. And now that I was reading it in this form and not really tiny on my phone, I like it even better. There's something I was actually going to point out. Well, now I've actually been able to like read the little things, but I wanted to shoot. I should have marked it. Most of the stuff in here is written for Magic Loop. If you are a double point user, you can generally adjust. It does not discuss that in here, but for the most part, people have done. So now, I don't remember what I wanted to show you. I was going to say I like it even better in person. It did come on the inside of the front cover is the code to download the pattern, the whole book, as e-patterns. I don't remember if it came through as an ebook or as individual patterns. Anyway, I have all the patterns in electronic copy too, which makes me happy. I don't remember what I wanted to tell you. I was going to tell you that I was reading through it and just really enjoying it. It felt like kind of sitting down with a friend and talking through stuff. So I highly recommend it. I also got the Knit Run Dig project bag. I ordered it special because it was I don't need more project bags. At least not for knitting generally. But I like the idea of having one that went with this book. And this one is cute. So it's by Knit Run Dig. So we've got the little label here and the little carabiner type thing. It's got a zipper pull that's a little coffee cup. A nice wrist item. It just makes it easier to carry around sometimes. And the inside is polka dots. So it feels very well made. It feels very sturdy. I'm very happy with it. Now, we're going to go into the drawings because 2 of you are going to get ebook copies of this. All right. I'm going to pause right here and get ready for the drawings. All right, since I've been talking about Cece's book, I'm going to start with that. So we had 27 entries. So there's 28 posts, but the first one was my explanation. And everybody posted one of the socks they liked plus their favorite drink. So that's been kind of fun. And there will be 2 winners. So I have 2 through 28. And I'm going to just tell it to generate simultaneously 2. And the numbers are, they're tiny on the bottom. 2 and 21. Dang it. Sorry. I get frustrated. I like my new iPhone, but the power button being here drives me absolutely crazy because I'm constantly hitting the volume button instead. I was going to take a screenshot so I could put it up on the side so you guys could see. Now I don't know if I'll bother. So, number 2, our first winner is Calico Kitty, who says the strawberries and cream frappe, which is it's a really, well, on here it's this pink one. She said the strawberries and cream frappe is calling as my first choice. I drink plain coffee with cream at the coffee shop. I have an allergy to the flavor shots. Well, that makes sense. And at home she drinks Dunkin' Donuts French vanilla with cream and sugar and sometimes hot chocolate mixed in. I'm paraphrasing. So, Calico Kitty 6, you are getting an ebook. I will send your name to Cece. And 21 is Spinnin' Lady. She said that she would make the coffee date shawl first and then the socks. And she said she's a plain Dunkin' Donuts with cream girl most days. At least I'm assuming that's what DD meant. For me, DD means Dunkin' Donuts, so I'm going to go with that. So Spinnin' Lady, you also won an ebook copy. I will send your names to Cece so she knows. I'm hoping you guys will see this first, but I will let her decide if she wants to just gift it and know that it's taken care of, or if she wants to wait until you contact her. I will, if you hear this, see this, and you have not received your copy, contact me. I'm sorry, this is like, I'm really choppy today. Last week I didn't record because I actually worked 13 hours just trying to get caught up enough so that I felt like it was okay to take vacation. And today I worked from 7 to 5:30 trying to catch up again. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on and it's been stressful. All right. Calico Kitty 6 and Spinnin' Lady, you won the ebooks. If you haven't seen the pattern, contact me. and let me know, and we'll take care of that. Now, the next thing is for a skein of yarn from Roz, who is also known as Kaner on Ravelry, and she owns the Passion Flower Etsy shop. She sent me this yarn. This one is her gumboot sock. 409 yards. It's 100 grams. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. This is a fingering weight. And then this one is her Harvest DK. It is 237 yards for a DK weight. And in this beautiful gumball machine colorway. You will be able to pick whatever color you want. Now, I said what I was going to do is I was going to take all the people who contributed projects in February and March and each person would get one entry. So what I did is I clicked on the top of the forum of the February to all posts with images. Because if you're posting a project, you post in images. There's also a project, but unless you linked your project, unless you took the photo from your stash and linked it, it won't show up as a project. And I was worried I was going to miss somebody because there was more images than there were projects, which could be because sometimes people had, more than one, but I was just worried I was going to miss somebody. So I took everybody in February who had an image, and I just went down the list in order, starting with the first person who was Flibberty Gibbet, and went down the list and entered everybody one time. And then I did the same thing on March and kept adding people that I didn't already have on my list. I then just numbered in order, 1 through 32. So this is the very first unique person to post. This is the very last unique person to post. And so there are 32. Hey, I finally got my screenshot from before. 1 through, let's see. All right. 1 through 32. Generate. 14. And on my list, 14 is Crouching Cheese. So, I believe her name is Angie in real life. Anyway, Crouching Cheese, you win a skein of yarn from Passion Flower. I will make sure she knows. Let me know when you see this, and then we'll make arrangements to make sure you get your skein of yarn. I believe it's any fingering or DK. And now I have lastly, we have just the March Fiber and You. And you guys know that for that, I always pick those ahead of time because otherwise there's too many times when I pick something and it's a chatter or it's a repeat or it's a whatever. So I pick those ahead of time every time. But the winners of those are for the $15 Ravelry patterns, KPAR62. The post that won was post 67, which was one of her chemo hats for donation. The other Ravelry gift card goes to Victoria Blue. She was actually post number 2. That means twice today we've actually had the first person post was one of the winners. Anyway, so Victoria Blue won Ravelry patterns, $15 or less, for her Stitch Surfer socks. And then the Etsy gift card goes to Kim D, post 34, for her dish towel. And I was actually happy because when I was looking at all the people who had posted in February and March, I saw her name and was like, oh, I haven't seen her for a while. I also saw Sally from Idaho, who I haven't seen for a while. She posted a whole bunch of things. So she did major catch up. All right. So those people need to contact me. If you won patterns, so KPAR62 and Victoria Blue, you need to let me know what patterns you would like. Kim D, I need your real life email address so I can send you the Etsy gift card. And Crouching Cheese needs to let me know that she saw this so we can arrange her yarn. And Spinning Lady and the other one just went out of my head. Spinning Lady and, oh, Calico Kitty. I'm like, it's somebody I know. Spinning Lady and Calico Kitty. You need to let me know so we can arrange your ebook with Cece. All right. That is all the drawings. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll tell you the healthy stuff right now, only because I'm trying to figure out how to get back on track. I'm really kind of struggling with the getting back on track, and part of it is the late nights. Today I worked until, almost 5:30, and I was like, I don't want to work out. I'm going to go home, I'm going to record, and it was kind of a choice. It was like, do I record or do I work out? Now, normally I should take care of me. Everybody says that, but honestly, I just felt like, I wanted to come home and record. I knew I had the drawings to do. I knew I had a lot to talk about. I don't know when I'm going to get to record next because this weekend is going to be a little weird. And then next week I go to Natopia. So I wanted to make sure I recorded. But it's just been hard. That being said, yesterday I worked out, and I actually had a really good workout. I worked out with the personal trainer, and one of the things we're talking about is that by meeting with her every couple weeks as I can, at least I realize that I'm not fully losing it, because sometimes you feel like, well, if you're not doing anything, then, just what's the point? And really, when I meet with her, I realize, and she pushes me. It's like, okay, I'm still improving, even if I'm not doing as much as I was. I also ended up doing a lot of fast walking and stationary bikes, so I got a very good workout in yesterday. And then we went and bought new shoes, so I'll post pictures of my new shoes. All right, they're still in the box there. He actually asked us if we wanted to wear them home, and it was when we went to the running store. We actually were we had worked out, so we were in our workout clothes and we had our workout shoes on. And he asked, and I was like, no, because workout shoes generally are for working out. We usually don't wear them other times. And he's like, that's kind of a test. He goes, not that I tell people usually, but that's kind of a test, because your workout shoes should be your workout shoes. And then your old workout shoes can be your everyday shoes that, you can cycle them that way. But anyway, I like my new shoes. They're every time I've gotten shoes, they've been basically the newest version of the same shoe. But this time I also changed sizes because, believe it or not, my feet have lost weight. Because of all the places we want to lose weight, feet sounds like a great place to lose weight. Anyway, but I got new shoes, and I am planning to work out tomorrow, at least get walking in or something like that. So I'm signed up for the Zombies Run 5K. It's a virtual 5K. I'm also signed up for Rain Lover Knits, her virtual 5K for spring, because in my head at the time I was getting a ton of practice, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm almost done with my walking story. I can switch over to zombies and kind of work up. And then I lost a whole bunch of time. A little bit was because of best friend's knee, because it makes it hard to go and work out when the other person can't, because the other person's sitting there and basically they end up working because there's nothing else to do while you're working out. But it's not, and a whole bunch from being sick and recovering, so there's been a lot of that stuff. But now I'm like, I am not in shape for this, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. And I didn't even start the Zombies Run app, because my thought was I was going to start it after I finished the walking app, and I still have probably 5 more episodes left of the walking app. I may have to switch it up just because I think it's gonna, I think the mission's gonna disappear otherwise. But I feel weird doing it as my very first one. I kind of wanted to have some under my belt. But anyway, I'll figure that out. I'll do something. So, all right, that was the healthy stuff. I'm going to close out, and everything from here on out will basically be cross-stitch related. All right, cross-stitch. And partially because this one is kind of big because a couple different things happened. For one thing, let me just show you, oops, sorry for the crinkling. Let me show you first Pumpkin Passport. I don't remember if I had April done. No, now it was April. I don't remember if I had March done when you last saw it. March is totally done. This little bit of green grass, that's the start of April. And I finally started some of the letters. So I have L and E. It's supposed to be let's go on an adventure. And I've been just pretty much figuring that, I'll get around to it eventually. I got, you can't even see it on that one. I got felt to put in between. So when I did that, I actually recentered where everything was because I was actually struggling to do the pink stitches. So there is a person who does a Flosstube. Her name is, well, she's the Stash Queen if you're looking for her on YouTube. I believe her name is Kate. She is totally changing this to be Doctor Who themed. So I want to say that she put a phone booth somewhere. She changed the girl to look like Rose on the scooter. Which if you've seen Doctor Who, you know what I'm talking about. Instead of doing a pink banner, she's actually doing the Doctor Who scarf. She put a adipose, I think, the little fat-sucking guy here. Now here for April, there's a guy like from it's the Swiss Alps, so I think it's like a Hans Christian Andersen type guy. Anyway, she changed it into the Doctor, and she changed the ski cap into a fez. So it's really cool that what she's doing. I'm not that clever. I am doing it as written, which I think is just fine. So I have it on my knit companion, and I just started the grass yesterday. The pattern came while we were in Nashville, and I didn't take this with me to Nashville because there's just too many parts. And I don't think I will take it to Knitopia because I don't think the lighting's going to be good enough, and I think it would be hard to concentrate on while talking to people. All right, now I'm putting it in my fabulous new bag. This bag is by So Much to Love. Here's the tag. It's sew, as in sewing, S-E-W, much, the number 2, love, L-U-V. So Much to Love. And it's an Etsy shop. She custom made this size because my favorite stitching size right now is 11 by 17. And she has pre-made ones, but you can also ask her to do custom and have her go, you need to ask ahead of time, send a conversation saying, I really like this size. I like these fabrics, what's available, and she will let you know. I picked the Russian dolls because I thought it worked for my travel project because I like things to match. Now I realize that someday I'm not going to have this project anymore, and then it won't match anymore. But right now, it makes me happy, and it has it's got this extra like rickrack and the extra detailing. The little heart on the zipper pull, and it has pink button fabric on the inside. So I really like this. Part of the reason I did this is because I keep my stuff in scrapbooking boxes. And when I was using an 8x8 frame or even an 11x11, it fit right in the box. But when I decided I really liked the coverage of the 11x17 and not having to move it around, it doesn't fit in the box. And I don't, if I'm changing between projects, which I will probably be doing, I don't want to just leave it out somewhere that the cats can get to it, because the idea of them going ping, ping with their toes freaks me out. Now, I got another one. I told you that I ordered a Disney kit. So this is another one. It has Mickey and Minnie on it for my Disney project. And I have not opened it yet, so I don't know what fabric is on the inside. So we're going to look. And it has a red heart. Oh, it's got red polka dots. That makes perfect sense for Minnie. I figured it was going to be some kind of polka dots. And again, it's got the rickrack and everything. I mean, it's just, it's a really nice size. So she also makes smaller bags, and she makes kind of like notions bags to go with. All right. Now, I just told you I had ordered the Disney kit. Well, the kit came. The pattern, like, I'm actually really glad I pre-ordered the PDF, and even if I had decided up front to do the kit, I still would have wanted the PDF, because there are, I don't know if you'll be able to see, there are many pages to this pattern, and I'll just show you one page, because if you can figure it out from there, good luck to you. The squares are tiny, and I mean, it shows you kind of like where this comes in the whole scheme of things, which I'm probably going to be sad I pulled this out. Oh wait, it has page numbers. Thank goodness. But I'm a little confused on it. It's like it shows a little bit of, there's a little graph in the corner that looks like it's supposed to show you where it lines up, but if that's true, it doesn't make any sense. But luckily, all the pages have the row and column numbers. But anyway, I think this would be hard to do without the PDF. I also got lots of floss. And I told you guys I would have had to buy like 90 different colors of floss, and it would have come out to like 260 skeins. Now, because they kitted it, some of the floss colors I don't have very much. I only have what I need, whereas other ones are obviously several skeins worth. They are pre-cut. They're also pre-organized. What I thought was interesting was that not only are they pre-organized, but it took a little while to get them. And I think one of the reasons is because when they organize it, they also do all the labeling by hand of all the different symbols. I'm glad I do not have that job. But I'm glad to have this. And it came with 18 count Ada cloth in white. I mean, it's nothing very exciting. But it's full coverage, so it really doesn't matter what color it was. I'll put those pages back later. So that I need to grid, and then I can start working on that. Also, in the meantime, one of my employees found out I stitch and gave me a huge box full of stuff for me and Mom to go through to see if we wanted anything. So Mom took some stuff, and I took a few things. I actually have to take the box back to her because there was a bunch of stuff that just didn't appeal to the two of us. But I did take a couple things. I took 2 Mill Hill items, partially because sometimes if you're doing big things, having a small one is just nice. It's a faster thing. So this one is a little Halloween one, and it comes with the floss, it does come with buttons, but that wasn't what I was looking at. The floss, the beads, the pattern, the perforated paper, and it comes with buttons to add the little 3D. So like there you can see the bat, and here you can see the pumpkin. So those are actually those beads. I just thought it was cute. And it would be a quickie little project. And this is similar. This one's a Christmas one. And there is a bunny button and a couple of these snowflakes are actually snowflake beads right here. And then I also took these out of there because I kept putting them back, thinking, I don't know. And then I take them out again and I put them back. And I finally decided that if I was being that indecisive, I would probably later regret if I had returned them. So I took them. And they're Bing Chan's Emperor and Empress. So this is the Emperor of the Qing Dynasty. And this is the Empress. And most of it is just design regular. You know, either if you're doing Ada, it would be 1/1. If you're doing linen, 2/2. Except that I almost think you have to do this. It gives you the fabric usage for different things, but I almost think you would have to do some sort of linen or other even weave cloth, because the face is done in petite stitch, where you actually, instead of doing 2/2, you would actually do either 2/1 or 1/1 and actually use the inner part of the square to get so much detail in the face. And I can't really show you without showing the chart, but anyway, the face is extra detailed on both of these. So I don't know if I'll ever do them, but like I said, I kept coming back and pulling them out and then putting them back and then pulling them out, and I finally decided I'm just taking them. Now, this same employee decided to buy me a book, and she and one of the other ones, they were just giggling up a storm. And if you are offended by bad language, this is not the book for you, but it is Subversive Cross Stitch by Julie Jackson. There's more to the title, but I don't want to have to I don't want to have to put the explicit tag. I'm probably in enough trouble talking about the knockers earlier. But in here there are a bunch of different ones, and like this one, babies suck. They do. I mean, they suck on pacifiers and stuff. There's one in here that actually says, "It's not mean if it's hilarious," which really makes me giggle, because sometimes, you know, there's just some things there. It's not mean if it's hilarious. Because sometimes there are some things that, you know, you just do. Irony is not dead. Is that all there is? But there's a bunch of them in here that have swearing that I'm not going to show at the moment. But they're pretty funny. There's one that says "sucks to be you," and I probably shouldn't admit, but I have felt that way a little bit at work. We've had a couple people who have caused their own issues, and they want me to fix them, and I'm just like, you're going to have to go deal with that. Not my employee. I can't directly fix it. You're going to have to go talk to so-and-so and get it fixed, and they're not going to be happy with you. There's not much else I can do about that. All right. So I have that. And I told you at the beginning of this that my son and I went to a needlework store. Now, in Mount Horeb, there is a store called Witchery Stitchery that they have basically no web presence whatsoever. The only thing I could find regarding them was an article from the Caron site, because Caron, who makes yarn, also makes floss, and talking about this wonderful little shop. And I mentioned it to my mom, and she said, I think they're closed, because they've been around forever. And so 3 weekends ago when best friend and I were there together, I asked him if we could swing by on the way out of town and just see if they even still existed. It's out of the way, but it's not so out of the way to be ridiculous. And in Mount Horeb, there's also a Duluth trading goods store, which he loves. So the agreement was we could stop there and then we could check out the store. Well, it turned out the store is closed on Sunday. But they were clearly still there. There was obviously kits and everything, you know, looking through the window. But no store hours that I could find. I did later find some in the yellow pages. But then I knew I was coming again the next weekend. And I asked my son, we were running errands and stuff, would you mind if we stopped? He was, no, that was fine. So we stopped. And this time they were there. Very nice. It's a mother-daughter that runs it. Now, the daughter looked like she was about the same age as my mom. And mom, of course, looked older than that. But very nice people. They asked a couple questions to learn about me. And they gave me a general idea where stuff was in the store. They came by one other time to show me the flosses. But generally, they, you know, let us search. They asked my son some questions about his music program because he was wearing his high school music jacket. Very, very nice people. So, I ended up buying stuff from them. Huh. I just realized one other thing I was going to show you. So, I went there and I bought, this is Mill Hill again. Again, partially because I like the little kits. And this one, I love the dragonfly on it. I mean, I know I normally am saying, well, I don't really need dragonfly everything. But I like the dragonfly. And this one is basically all beads. I mean, the only floss that comes with is white. I am hoping that there are enough beads that I can adjust this to be like a rectangle and not an Easter egg. But I thought the dragonfly was really pretty. This kit I got, I have never worked on linen. Years ago, I cross-stitched, and then I didn't really do any of it, so I've never stitched on linen. This kit is not too big. It's on linen. It's 51 stitches by 45 stitches, so it's not huge. And it's a 25 count linen, which means it actually is even bigger than 14 count Ada. So it will be a new experience, but it should be a good size. And it has a sheep, and sitting on top of the sheep is a little squirrel that's knitting, and it says, "Stitch with love." So the squirrel is knitting. The sheep is actually wearing a tape measure and holding a tomato pincushion and has a little pair of scissors. It seemed very fitting, and it seemed like a good size for trying out linen without committing to something big. I get this one just because I thought it was fun. I like the cat, and it has phrases on the side, and the first one says, "Be you, the world will adjust." And I love that sentiment. And I thought, hey, this one should be kind of a easier one too, in between, especially the full coverage Disney. Now, I didn't buy any supplies for this because I'm not planning on doing it right away. So, and the last one was another one that I really liked the look of this. And I liked this one enough that I was worried that it was a $28 pattern. But I was worried that if I didn't take it when I saw it, it would be one of those I would never be able to find again. So it's a Dragonfly lace sampler. It is above my current skill level. Because it uses, to be honest, I don't think it qualifies as cross stitch. I think it's just needlework because of the kinds of stitches that are in it. But, and it has the specialty stuff here. So the specialty threads, the Krynic and the florist wire, which you need for the wings, and the beads are all in this little packet. And then you need to supply the floss and fabric yourself. I just didn't want a chance of losing this one. And if they were actually telling me, they're like, we don't mean it as a sales pitch, but really, if there's something you really want, you should just pick it up when you see it. Because a lot of times they're only printed once, and then that's the end of it. So that was all from Witchery Stitchery in Mount Horeb. Now, after I posted that on, I'm in a Facebook group called Stitch Mania. After I posted it there, like a bunch of people actually said, oh, I love that shop. I go there when I'm on my way to my parents from Chicago or different things. I was like, so apparently other people know about it. All right. Last bitty things. A new needle minder from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Just because I thought this one was cute. They had this one at a show they went to. I don't remember what show. That was something I meant to say in the first part. We found out while we were in Nashville, Stitches South was in Nashville at the same complex we were. And we never were going to have enough solid time to go. And I had suggested to best friend that we really shouldn't plan anything for Aikido because we didn't know how the days were going to work out and it was just going to be too difficult. So we didn't feel like we could then say, oh, you can't go to Aikido, but we should go to Stitches. And honestly, there was never really a good time to go. So we did go to see some gardens, but I'll actually post, I'll try to remember to post that next time. This is already getting super long. All right, so I got that. This little leather, I think it's leather, scissors is also from So Much to Love, just like the bag. And these are plastic Doris bobbins, 1,000 bobbins for $16 on Amazon. One of the Flosstubes I watched was talking about it, and I was like, that's a really good price on a whole stack of bobbins. Just to be, you know, that's a lot of bobbins. So now I don't need to bobbinate anything at the moment, but I figured I'll have them. I'm good. Because my cardboard ones are already kind of wearing, and I don't even really do anything with them. So I either am using them or I put them back in the scrapbook box. So they shouldn't be wearing, but they are. I believe that's everything. I'm going to do the best I can on show notes this week. It might be kind of iffy. So I'm not going to say anything more because I told everybody they could leave if they didn't want to watch the cross stitch part. So I'm going to go now. Bye.